word
Oh,
of
the
the day.
hype. Yeah, we picked this one. Among many other words, I think this one just plays it beautifully in my little button, my little thingy
Oh, there's
button.
a lot of words over here.
Yeah, there. Yeah, but the thing is that um, I think a lot of accounts, especially nowadays, do a lot of beautiful schematization of the concepts that are around. So we just picked up this word because it just looks like we, everything that we've been saying that is going to happen as far as getting the frameworks done and everything that we've been sort of sharing as far as where the AI hub is going, how is it helping jobs, how is it helping business. It's just it's just getting shaped, which is great. It's great by these authors of the ones that are at the top doing it. So I like
The
this word.
the edge technicians, right?
Hmm.
The edge, the scientists that are building this, these products for us, these researchers that are trying to um, cultivate this for the world to use, right? Um, this is everything, and Laura's absolutely right. This is, if you listen to our talks and you've paid attention, we've been talking pretty much, we've been following in the direction that AI is going. And I mean, if you're listening to the tech news for the past 2, 3 weeks, it all has been around model context protocol, SDKs, APIs, um, people really trying to plug their product with AI
Hmm.
and plugging other people's tools with AI so that you can pull that information. And that's what the model context protocol is. It's now, they, what has been defined is, okay, we know how to build AI and we know how to use AI. That's where the RAG, the multimodality comes in. That's where the prompt engineering and the fine tuning and these AI agents come in, right? They have this AI pillar over here. But in a world of AI agents, in a world of all of these tools and prompts and fine tuning and RAG and multimodality, how the heck do you get them to talk to each other if everyone is unique and
Hmm.
proprietary to where they're coming from, right? So that's where Claude Anthropic provided um, the model context protocol, because they saw this coming. They're building it, right? They're building
Hmm.
all of this. They're
Yep.
building they're building the product, and so they've realized that, hey, we need a way to connect this. And all of them in a way have, right? All of them have had APIs, and things that you can leverage to pull and push information from into whatever system, right? But you had to build that yourself, and essentially, so you were the middleman, and you're building the middleman, right? And that's where AI engineers and the people, a lot of, we're not expensive, but a lot of other software development agencies like ourselves, um, were charging a pretty penny, because this was latest and greatest, and not many people understood it. Not many people know how to do it, and so that's where they were charging those really high prices, because at the end of the day, supply and demand, right? Supply was low of these type of people that understood it and could actually build it right. Demand was high, and well, what's the best time to capitalize on the economy as such when demand is high and supply is low? Is you increase your prices. Um, we did it. I mean, we really didn't raise our prices. It's the same. It's the same people working on it. It's the same, right? So um, anyways, not to talk about ourselves, but just kind of where things came from. Now they released this protocol where, hey, if you want to integrate into any platform, you follow these rules and this framework, and now essentially you can if you can connect to this one, you can connect to any of the other
Mhm.
MCPs servers, right? Protocol servers. Um, and so now we're in a different. What's in the next page? There we go. So that's the where we're talking about facts. So now it turns that context protocol into an API, which is essentially just a server that is waiting for someone to ask it anything.
Yep.
Um, Go ahead.
Search for all of the responses here. I love how like we've been saying over in our last series, AI is only this tool that has enhanced productivity by the minute for the past years, because it's just giving you everything that you already had in a very simple way. So we already had databases before, but we didn't really look into the insights. We already had real-time inventory management in restaurants, and now it's just by the second, right? So we already had lots of things, but AI is just super enhanced. So the fact that the protocols are everywhere is just amazing. It's just it's too real. It's like there's no
Ex-
other way to put it.
exactly, and it's actually democratizing a lot of it because um, number one, you have complete control over the security of that data, of how people are connected. So it, the MCP actually acts as many things. It acts as a security gateway. It acts
Hmm.
as the actual protocol server, right? It controls the logic and the how and the security of how that information is going to get pulled. Um, who can pull the information, when, how. So really, it's like another interface, right? Where you've built it and you say, hey, with these security protocols, you're able to pull this type of information, and that information means this, and you're defining
Hmm.
that as and you're making sure that that's defined. Now
Yep.
anybody, and then now who you give access to be able to
Hmm.
use it,
Yeah.
it's the same thing, right? Hey,
Hmm.
I'm giving that product the ability. It's going to be the same protocol, right? The same instruction set and the same use case. So what an MCP server tends to look like is a use case
Like,
repository of AI.
okay, I use case repository. Yeah. Like in a way of layer, I imagine it in a way of layers.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Well, I don't see it as layers. I see it. There's a way that it can be as layers from a secure. Like if you're looking at it from a security protocol,
Hmm.
from a protocol perspective, it is layers because you have the first authentication communication, then you have um, the action and the intent of what they're trying to get. Right? Hey, I am trying to get the weather from this location. Oh, keyword intent is weather. That means I need to use this function to get the weather data from a database or from a data repository and then provide it back. And then it also needs to provide the response back to whoever requested that information. How is it going to provide that response? And so the MCPs actually, simplify what Claude has done, and a lot of others are following behind, is that they have created a standard framework as to how we do it, how we connect all of these. Because you can now, from one MCP server, you can now connect all these other MCP servers. So now an MCP server could just be talking to another MCP server to provide the information that you're looking for,
Hmm.
right? So now it's like that's why it's everywhere. That's why everybody's trying to build it, because now you have this pillar of logic and data, and it has the power of AI attached to it. and you're able to provide information almost at an instant, depending on the how you've structured the protocol,
Yep.
and you can give access to your applications, your systems, or to folks that need it.
Yep. So they're everywhere. It's not like it's not a word that will disappear anytime soon. I think it already existed. We're just enhancing the vocabulary to how the system has been, been built up now. Because I mean, to be really honest, like many other big companies that have done this before, uh, they had other languages, right? So
Yeah.
or
No.
other terms. We're just putting new words to the opportunity that small businesses have to enhance their operations to this level.
Yeah.
So
What?
I don't know what the word would that be, but
Well,
it
the thing is that what it is really, and because I built out an MCP server, because we were going to use it for a project, and then Albin and I talked, and I showed him what I had done, and then he was like, "This," and we and I were talking, and we were both like, "This is just a backend server that acts like an API endpoint." and and that's what the MCP framework literally is pretty much simplifying, creating that framework as to how everybody should be connecting, essentially creating a universal API
hmm
framework that everybody will use, so that all of our AI agents or whatever we create with AI or AI scenarios or AI workflows, we're able to easily either share or use in other with other systems and other applications. And from our perspective, even though we built an MCP server, we had already built one um, with the with the our approach to building our AI workflows and AI agents. We had already built it. Um,
hmm
Obviously, we have some technical debt now because now we have to make sure that it matches um, the
the
framework.
outside, yeah, the
Yeah.
outside framework.
Yeah, yeah. So we've created our own framework, and it's proprietary to all the tools and applications and how we wanted to talk to all of the things that we've created. Um, but since we are not using the MCP framework, then it's a little bit harder to communicate with external or other MCP um, servers, right? So that's a little bit of the technical debt that we've come up, but that's, hey, that's part of being
Growing. Yeah.
growing and the edge, right? We
Yeah.
but we have a very great understanding as how it's supposed to work because we've
hmm
built our own. We have our own framework. Now we just need to have the option to connect it to all of the other frameworks that are there. And that's just an integration game, right? If we can integrate to more things and connect to more things, then we're winning,
Yeah.
right?
I've also like, and I didn't put it on any slide, but the opportunity that small businesses have to create their own, because everyone's, who a lot of non-technical people are scratching the surface of their own potential, but they're not necessarily seeing this whole background that EBDev can do in order to provide like an enhancement in their processes. So anyone dealing with inventory, like any e-commerce, anyone dealing with route planning, which would be any field service, any like it's just amazing how it's potentially giving a lot of small business owners a lot of ownership into their processes.